Welcome back. And we're continuing our discussion on strength training or resistance training. So, yesterday I discussed a little bit about what it is, or in the previous session, I discussed a little bit about what it is. And today I'm going to continue on that, but I'm going to look especially at the muscles. So, a lot of people tell me, especially women, that the moment they're going to start resistance training, do resistance training, they are scared that they're going to turn into bodybuilders. They don't want to get buff. Now, please rest assured that it takes a lot of discipline and dedication over many years on both a physical and nutritional level to turn into a bodybuilder. So that's not something that's going to happen overnight. And unless you wanted to, unless you really, really wanted to. So resistance training is so necessary, especially as we age. We need to keep the muscle mass up. It's also one of the best kept secrets. That's actually not such a big secret, but people tend to not be aware of this. But if you want to lose weight, you cannot just go running. You need to do resistance training. You need to get the muscles to be bigger. And when I say lose weight, what I actually mean is you want to lose fat because we want healthy people, not necessarily skinny people. So even if you're skinny and you have no muscle, you are just as unhealthy as someone that is extremely overweight with no muscle mass. So we really need to increase the muscle mass. So we're going to do resistance training for that. And what that's going to do as well is the best way I can explain it is that a muscle is like a little engine that's always idling. Even if you're not using that muscle actively in that moment, it's still idling, which means it's still using fuel. So if you have a bigger muscle, which is like a bigger engine, it's going to use more fuel even while it's resting. So in the end, that translates to you using more fuel. So if you're not consuming more, your body's going to start burning the excess fuel or fat that is stored in your body. So there's a lot of benefits. Also, I mentioned in the previous one that resistance training will improve bone density, which sounds kind of weird. But if you think about it, the whole process, how bones form, is when there's pulling or resistance where the muscle attaches to the bone registers that, okay, I need to, as this muscle is getting stronger and pulling more, I need to be stronger there because otherwise we're going to reach a point where the muscle is going to pull and it's going to pull a piece of bone out with it. So then what the body does is at the bone, it's going to start putting down more and more bone cells, if I can put it that way. So it's increasing your bone density, especially thinking as we age, why this is important. We're going to need the muscle mass. We're going to need the better bone density. Because as we age, we tend to naturally lose muscle mass. It becomes a lot more difficult to gain muscles. And also, as women, especially when you're going into menopause, we lose a lot of our bone density. So we want to maintain that as long as possible. And it's so much easier if you can start beforehand and enter menopause already with an established muscle mass and good bone density, rather than trying to fix the problem once it's already there. But it's not impossible, but it's just so much easier. Right. And then what I want to say is there's an amazing symmetry in how we are created, body, mind, and soul. In all of these aspects, we need resistance. We need to overcome resistance to grow, to get better, to be healthy, to be balanced, to be able to react to our circumstances and to handle and react appropriately. We need to find that balance, and we need to realize that yes, we need to get stronger and we need to deal with the resistance in one regard, but then we also need to rest at the appropriate times. And then we need to nourish and feed ourselves the appropriate nutrition, whether that is in the body, the mind, or the soul. What we consume is ultimately what's going to come out. So we really, really need to take care of this area. And it is just amazing the symmetry that is a universal truth for every aspect of our humanness, of our human beings. So I want you to start thinking a bit differently about your muscles. I want you to realize how amazing they are, that they're there for your good and you need to use them. It is a massive gift to be able to use them. And we want to keep them strong and we want to look after them and we want to be responsible with them because ultimately that is what allows us to move. It's what allows us to react and it's what's improving our quality of life. Because if you're 100% sure of what your body can and cannot do, you gain confidence in movement. You know what you can participate and where not. And it actually enables you when you're stronger to take a bit of a risk to see how far can I go. It adds so much to life. If you're not the one standing on the side while the kids are playing, but joining in without any fear of injury and knowing you're going to be able to keep up with the kids, that is part of quality of life. And that is where we need our muscles. We need to be fit in a cardiovascular level. And we need to combine all of this. So I want you to continue with our cardio program. I'm still looking forward to seeing you guys do a 5K with me. So we're going to continue with our 5K training and then continue with the exercises I gave you in the previous session. We're going to upgrade our exercises very soon and add a couple of things. And then I would love to hear back from you guys. And remember, as always, before I tell you the other remember your milkshake muscle. Remember to breathe, remember to use your milkshake muscle, and remember you are fearfully and wonderfully made.